My name is Ciaran Crean. I'm CEO of Wave OMS, and I have a small side hustle on mixedgarage.com as well. Wave OMS is fundamentally an order fulfillment engine. So we're not an ERP. We sit in front of your ERP and under your e-commerce platform to turbocharge your warehouse processes, to move them from a manual to a very systemic operations. Fundamentally, this morning we heard about personalization, segmentation, email, acquisition, retention, and all that great stuff to grow your business. But that brings a problem, more orders, right? And ultimately, what we have found that a lot of warehouses that are very manually driven typically becomes a bottleneck to growth. It prevents you from enjoying that growth and then pushing on the accelerator pedal a lot harder, okay? I'll just take it right through it, and any questions, please shout. So Wave OMS was launched by the mixedgarage.com founders, which is Mick and I. We've run a warehouse now for the best part of 18 odd years. So we've as many, we distilled all our knowledge relative to process and how we think a warehouse should be run into a system. We've hit many hurdles over the years, we've hit successes, and we've arrived at a product which we think absolutely is incredibly beneficial to any warehouse. We live and breathe it. Mixedgarage.com is still the largest customer for Wave. On average, in low season, you're looking at about 19,000 orders. Peak season, probably about 27,000, 28,000 orders. Average order value, 3.5 items. So we're fairly churning orders out through Wave. What we see is traditional process when we visit a warehouse. It's very manual, paper-based. And therefore, there's a lot of gaps that a process can fall through, right? You tend to pick orders one at a time or small sheets at a time, right? When you're picking orders one at a time, it's inefficient. We see customers who pre-print all the shipping labels, for example, or have to manually go in and print shipping label once the order's gone through. That's inefficient. Onboarding new hires, if you have a manual warehouse, then your new hires for the warehouse as an ongoing basis, or indeed come peak traffic time, have to learn how things are done. And that can be a challenge, and typically, again, things fall to the gaps. We very often see there's a key person or key management dependency, where very often the warehouse manager or the operations manager or the warehouse supervisors can't necessarily go on holiday because they're plugging the gaps. And based on that, then there's very heavy management oversight. Ultimately, key people can't necessarily leave the warehouse because you have to be stuck on it to get the orders out the door. What that does, it delivers a certain level of pain. We see that basically it's very risky, it's inefficient, you can't scale it, a lot of mispicks, product comes to customers wrong, customers unhappy. There's a cost to fixing that, customer service costs, I got my wrong order, collecting, resending. Typically we'll find that our customers are limited to one courier. That's just necessarily the nature of it. It's very inflexible to switch between couriers because of the manual processes in it. Staff knowledge is required, so whether you're a structured or unstructured warehouse, there's always a Joe who knows where everything is. And if warehouse staff goes down to Shannon on a boat trip, you better hope it doesn't go down because all the knowledge is gone with it. There's no audit trail accountability, so who has done what when? Who packed that order? We're getting some complaints about orders. Well, I think we need to reskill Joe because he's obviously not doing things the way that it should be. Difficult to scale for peak periods, right? Again, putting people on top of manual processes is very much a linear scale. It hurts your P&L. So if you have to bring in a new hire for every 100, 150, 200 orders a month, for example, that's a problem. Ultimately, the more orders you bring in, the less of a unit cost your order fulfillment to the warehouse should be. And again, as I said, it's limiting growth, growth's a bottleneck. So how Wave does it is we have a process where, again, we sit in front of ERP, we sit under we plug onto your e-com system, we pull all orders in. So, for example, at Magico, we basically connect to your platform. All orders are pulled into our system in real time. And what we do is it's all system driven. So you're picking on tablets, you're scanning on barcode handhelds. We deconstruct all the orders. We consolidate them into a real-time pick list. So you're picking for all orders at once, right? So how I give that example, for example, if you're coming in on a Monday morning and you've got 500 orders to process, and it's a very popular item that sits in 200 orders, typically in a manual process warehouse, you have got a single pick sheet. Before you get any new orders in, you're going to that location 200 times, right? In Wave, we would say pick it all once. So you pick all 200, you put them in the basket, you bring them to the sort site. What Wave does cleverly, it basically at the sorting stage, when you scan the product, it will tell you that's a single item order, send it straight to the packing bench, or that's a multi-item order, and we get you to put it in a small cubby put wall, A101, where it can be reformed with other items. Everything, as I said, is scanned, it's barcoded. Nobody necessarily knows what orders they're working on because it's purely a product-driven flow, right? So you're not walking around with sheets of paper. You don't know that that's going to Joe and Ackle, for example. And ultimately, it's a very simple pick, sort, pack, and ship process. Because of that, you get 100% accuracy. Right? If everything is scanned through the process and everything is scanned at the door, you cannot send the wrong product to the customer. That's, of course, assuming the product is set up correctly. It's assuming that the packer puts everything into the box. But systemically, you cannot send the wrong product to the customer. It enables business growth, enables you to scale. Because if you're doing a promotion and that 200 items that are in the 200 pick lists, that could be 400 items. It doesn't matter. Instead of picking 200, I pick 400. It doesn't make a huge difference. So you're no longer linear scaling, and your unit economics drop relative to your cost of getting an order out the door. And also, you have a new level of management insight. You know who your top pickers, your top packers, your flow, how many orders to go, how many picks to go, how many picks are level 3, how many picks in the front of the shop, who done what, and how many orders are left behind at the end of the day, right? We've got full integration, so we have about 12 couriers baked into it. So again, some of our customers are using on board the product, they come in, they may have been limited to one courier. And for that reason, they're not necessarily getting the best commercial rates because it actually is difficult to move. But overnight, you can literally plug in your account number and you can ship with Fastfood tomorrow. You can add DHL, UPS, Grab same day, etc. We connect all the platforms. All the platform, it's pretty much overnight, and it's real time. So if you have a picker, for example, on the floor, and they're being asked to pick the next item, and in the meantime, an order drops in for that item, it would be automatically added to the closest picker that's in their tablet, right? So it's all exactly real time. We have customers of all shapes and sizes. From a magical side, Vaughan's come on as our first customer nearly practically 12 months ago. We're delighted to say we're launching with Heavens week after next, and we just signed up Kevin's team, CH Tralee, and we look forward to working with those guys. But again, last year, our platform shipped best part of 786,000 orders, all 100% accurate through the system. We have all customer shapes and sizes. So we have customers who are doing 36,000 orders a month. We have customers who are doing 30 orders a day, but on a B2B basis, their order quantity could be 150, 200 orders, 200 items, I beg your pardon. So from a volume standpoint, they're very heavy. We have customers who are structured. A structured warehouse is a warehouse where you've got product sitting in a bin location, and Wave will guide you to that. Go and pick 3 of those from A101, pick 4 of those from B202, right? Or an unstructured warehouse. For example, Golden Discs, they don't have a warehouse. They pick from their 10,000 square foot storefront in Dundrum, right? So it does really make a difference relative to how you are in the structure of your business. Wave can provide best practice consolidation and bring that systemic accuracy and efficiency to your business. I thought I'd give you a very quick look at, I'm not too sure if this is going to work. If I hit enter, it doesn't. Can I play here? I thought I'd give you a time lapse of a mixed garage and how we do things in our business. So ultimately, you see the pickers down the aisles. Because it's consolidated picking, you'll only ever see one person in aisle at one point in time because they're literally run through. You won't see 5 or 6 people with pick tickets picking different products for different orders at the same time. And ultimately, it's very simple. It's pick, it's sort, and it's pack. Once the order is packed, an automatic label is printed, shipping label, 1 or 12 couriers, and then that label and the order confirmation is sent back to Magico, which communicates back to your customer. On this day was a peak day for us. We did 2,200 orders, and we have 14 staff in the warehouse. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, give me a shout, or indeed if you're interested, I'd love to invite you to the mixedgarage.com warehouse, and you can actually see it in action and how we do things.